guys, Finn's Graphics here, and welcome back to Quick Tips Episode 2. Now, a lot of you guys requested that I did kind of my 3D text. Now, my way of doing this is by far not the best, but a lot of you guys wanted me to show you how I did it. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is make this Minecraft-like text. This is pretty cool, especially if you're doing Minecraft art. It kind of has that same look as the Minecraft logo. It's basically just pretty squarey 3D text with some cracks in it and stuff. Alright, so what you're going to need to do this, you're going to need Photoshop and you're going to need Illustrator. Now, you can do this in Photoshop, but I like to use Illustrator just because it's a lot faster and a lot simpler. So I basically just flip over to Illustrator really quick, do the little 3D part, and bring it back into Photoshop. So yeah, let me show you how to do that. So, go into Illustrator. File, New, and create a new document. Now in Illustrator, the new document really doesn't matter, just because it's vector format, so no matter what size you make it, it doesn't really matter. So whatever you want here. Now basically, you're going to want to use the type tool up here, and type out whatever you want. For this one, I guess I'll just type Minecraft, and then you can use all your tools up here to like scale it up, so let me just scale it up a bunch. And then I'm going to use the same font that I used in the last tutorial, which is the actual Minecraft font. I think it's called Minecrafter. No, Minecraft 2.0. That one's just, it looks a lot like the font that's actually used in Minecraft. So we're going to use that. You can change little nitty-gritty stuff like the spacing between the letters and all that kind of stuff just to make it look a little nicer. Something kind of like that probably will look good. And then after that, you're going to want to go up in the top here and click Effect, 3D, Extrude, and Bevel. Now, it's going to bring up this window here, and this window is a little bit confusing, but you basically just start playing around with it, and make sure you check this little preview box here, which is going to basically show you what it looks like. Now, the problem with this, actually, is that you can't use black, because then you really can't tell what you're doing. So I'm just going to hit Cancel here and choose a different color from down here. Double click this, and just kind of choose more of a grayish color. It doesn't really matter what color you use, but just as long as it's not pure black. So I'm going to go back to Extrude and Bevel, and hit Preview. Now you can kind of see you get that 3D text, and then you just kind of start playing around with this box here, and you see how it affects the text. And then if you want to go always back to the front, you can just check front, and then you get a nice frontal view. And then you can use these sliders to fine-tune it if you're not as good with the little box up there. And then you can also add a little bit of perspective just to kind of get that a little bit of warping there. So anything just like this is pretty much good. You don't need to go too far with it. I mean, whatever really you want is good. So I'm going to say something like that is probably good. Then you can also go to more options here and change your lighting a little bit if you want to give more of a high contrast. Like something like that is a lot better, just because it's a lot more clean, and then once you bring it into Photoshop, it'll be a lot easier. So yeah, hit OK on that. Then basically all you need to do now is just click on it and hit Command-C if you're on a Mac, Control-C if you're on a PC, which basically just copies it. You can go edit, copy as well. And then go over into Photoshop, create a new document. Now, for this, again, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I like to just, if I'm doing something for the sake of doing it, I like to use video format, like 16 by 11, just because it's, I don't know, it's a nice shape and size. So yeah, let me just choose one like that, and bring that in. Okay, so now once you're in here, you're just going to want to paste in your thing, Command-V or Control-V, or just pasting. And then you get this little window here. And from here, you can use Smart Object. What Smart Object does is it basically allows you to edit the thing in Illustrator, and then as soon as you edit it, it will edit itself in Photoshop, which is an amazing feature, and I use it a lot. But for this kind of stuff, that's pretty much what I want. I'm pretty sure of it. So you can basically just go to Pixels. And here it is, and then just scale it up a little bit here. Get it to around the size you want. And as you can see already, it's starting to look a lot like the Minecraft text. Now, as always, I'm going to include a PSD file that you can use. But basically, now what you're going to do is use the colors that I used. It doesn't really matter, but I kind of like to use the Minecraft colors. So basically, I'm just going to color sample what that color was. Actually, what looks nice sometimes is if you do a bit of a gradient. So you just kind of choose a lighter color and a darker color. That kind of just adds a little bit of flair into it. I didn't do that on this one, but you can if you want to. So I will do that for the sake of this tutorial. Okay, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click your magic wand tool, and then make sure your tolerance tolerance, blah, I can't talk. Make sure that is around like 30 or something, just so that when you select it, it doesn't select everything, just the face of the text. And then you just kind of want to go through and select each letter, and then make a new layer. And if your selection doesn't look very good, you can always do refine edge, and then just kind of like smooth it out a bit, or do whatever you think it needs, just to give it a little bit smoother lines. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. It's probably good. Then you can go to your gradient tool down here, or just hit G on the keyboard, and then just drag up or down depending on which way you want the gradient to go, and that kind of gives you a nice gradiented text. Now that's pretty much good for Photoshop. I like to kind of just switch back and forth to get an idea of what I'm doing. But then we're gonna flip back into Illustrator, back into our text here, and add a stroke to it. Now you can do that by just clicking down here under where there's like that little X through the stroke, double clicking it, and then just choosing a color. I'm going to choose black, and then it automatically adds the stroke. You can edit the stroke options right here. I'm going to make it quite a bit bigger. I'm going to say probably about there. You can also change kind of the way the stroke looks, but I just like to do a meter joint. It looks pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty good. Let's, again, Command C, copy that, bring it into Photoshop, and paste it in, again, as pixels, and then scale it up. Now, basically what this is going to do is we have a version with and without the stroke, which is just kind of handy, just so that you get cleaner lines. I like to do it, and plus you have more editability later. So basically just size it up until it's the right size. By the way, I was holding Shift to make sure it doesn't lose its shape. So yeah, just hit check up here to apply the transformation, and you're good. Now move that layer. As you can see here, there's a couple layers. You want to move the layer you just created above your normal layer. So again, you have your gradient layer, you have your stroke layer, and you have your text layer. So let me just name those really quick. So now you can see it's starting to take a little bit more shape. But one thing that you notice on this text is that the bottom is a little bit gray versus the black. So what I like to do is just select that gray color. Any really just kind of darkish gray will work. And then use the rectangle marquee tool to select this whole area down here and make sure it kind of lines up a little bit, just a square down there. And then a feature that I use a lot in Photoshop that a lot of people don't know about is that if you click this lock transparent pixels, it's going to basically make it so you can't draw outside lines of the design. So now if I click Alt Delete on my keyboard, or just edit fill, it's going to fill that whole area, but it's not going to go outside the lines. See, if I don't have it locked and I click it, it fills the whole area up. But if it's locked and I do it, then it just stays inside the lines. Now, what you're going to want to do after that is basically just select the areas where it should still be black, by basically, because the light, if your light source is coming from the bottom, then it's not going to get on these faces. So you're going to want to use your polygonal lasso tool and select each piece here and then fill those back with black. So I'm going to go back to my black color and then just fill each of those little areas that should still be black with black so that it looks good. If you have a tablet, you can use your tablet just to make it a little bit faster. I know I like to do that, but for the sake of this tutorial, I will be using the mouse. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through this, making each of these areas black, and I will come back when I'm done. Alright, so now that you're done that, you can see it pretty much looks good. A couple things you can do too is add some shine to it, like I usually do, by using the elliptical marquee tool, and filling it with white. Again, I use Alt Delete for that. Fill it with white, and then hold Command on your keyboard to select the pixels. If you hold Command over top of this little layer here, it selects the layer pixels. So basically I can just hold Command and click on that, and then you can see as it selects it. And then on my layer with the white circle, I can click the mask icon, and then it just kind of, you know, makes that nice shine on it. I can drop the opacity using this thing here. Drop the opacity of it, just so it's, I want to say around there. And then I can also use the eraser tool just to kind of erase the top bit, just so it's like that one little flare. It always looks pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much that. The one thing you might be wondering is, how do I get all these cracks? Basically, like, all the cracks and scratches and stuff, I pretty much just add those in later, like with a brush. That's the only really way you can do it. There's some kind of like fonts and scripts and stuff you can use that I've seen people do, but I mean, the easiest way to do it is really just to brush them all in. Just like using black, making sure that, here, I'll zoom in a bit here. Making sure that you're drawing the black and you're drawing the shadows and the shine, just the way they should look. And it really gives you a better result in the end. One last thing is the shine on the bottom. You can use your rectangle marquee tool to just select the whole bottom area here. Go back to your gradient layer, make sure the transparent pixels are locked, and choose that nice bright gray color, and then just again Alt-Delete, and that kind of adds the shine to the whole bottom of the text. And you can continue to do that if you would like. So yeah, that's about it for the Minecraft text. As you can see, it looks pretty clean, pretty nice in 3D and stuff like that, and it's really quick and easy. So it's a very nice effect to use if you're making thumbnails or whatever, and you want to use that sweet Minecraft font, but you don't necessarily actually want it to say Minecraft. You want it to say whatever. So yeah, you can do that to whatever you would like. So yeah, I tried to keep this one a little bit quicker. I think the way I did that was just talk really fast. So if you missed something, you can always go back. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. And if you would like to submit your own idea of what you want to see how to make, a lot of times you guys submitted ideas, which is cool, but I really want to see a design that you like, that you want to know how to make, and then maybe I'll do that next episode. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.